meeting as mayor, with following our charter, when requested by our general counsel that we have this special meeting. It was properly advertised, and we currently have, Karen, do you want to do a roll call of who is present?
Sure. Commissioner Harry Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Cynthia Burton,
Present.
Commissioner William Laurie,
Present.
City Manager Charles Rudd,
Here.
City Attorney Gordon Pickens on the phone, Commissioner Lisa King DeVito appearing via Zoom.
And I'm the mayor, I'm here.
Oh, and Michelle Myers.
And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Commissioner Banks, if you would lead us in our invocation, please stand if you are able.
Sorry about that.
Father, dear gracious God, we thank you once again for your kindness and your love and all your mercy. How you protect us. I pray for each commissioner, our community, and everybody involved. We ask this in your son Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I'm going to go ahead at this time. I'm going to turn this over to our attorney, Robert Pickens.
Obviously we're here because we got a demand letter from a Clarion's attorney. I've been talking with her and providing her information of things that a Clarion did not do throughout the process. Up until just a second ago, that's who I was on the phone with. And they would like time to look over everything that I've sent them and then see what they're gonna do at that point.
Just for context, we had taken a position, previously, they had a different law firm responded to that, and we were not going to, I think, what was our official response, that they were going to sue us? We would.
Yeah, I wrote a letter saying that we would countersue based on our belief that they breached the contract.
And we never heard from them.
It sounds like they were not, the firm was not provided the stuff that I provided to her from Clarion, even though they copied the email.
Well, we never heard back from that first firm. It's been months. Now we have a new firm with a new letter, and it's evident they didn't have all the information.
Okay. Can you just for reference for anybody that might be viewing or for us, can you just give us kind of an overview as to why we're here?
Like the whole, yeah, I mean, we got
Not the whole, you can just kind of tell us why we're even
well, we were
discussing
here
this.
because we got a demand letter that I think it was dated, we got it about 2 weeks ago, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know the exact date, but it had a response deadline tomorrow. So that's why, it's a different law firm, so I just wanted to get y'all's, I don't wanna act, I know that y'all said before that you didn't wanna pay it, I just wanted to get that, confirmation again, and then pass that information along. But I've had what seemed like productive conversations with their counsel now, trying to bring them up to speed on some stuff that we have. And the main things that were brought to their attention, or to her attention, was the mispayment to the public, I'm saying it wrong, the Public Service Commission, where we incurred a penalty of fine because that payment was not made. Also, there were some bank reconciliations that it looks like we got added more payment in taxes in October and it had not been reconciled by February. So those are just some of the concerns that we brought to her attention.
And that was of 2022, correct? And that was February of 2023. Okay. So basically, this is against Clarion. I mean, can you give us, this is just so that we.
Yeah, it's the financial firm that we had hired, the commission had hired back in 2021. They were starting to clear up all of our audit comments and get us back on track. And what we need to do is hire them and provide an accounts payable position. And here we are, we just got the audit for 2022, all those now third-year comments are still there. And then we had this, we feel we're stopped working completely, almost back in October of 22. And then the contract ended in April of 23. We had issued an RFP to try to replace them, but they were the only responded to the RFP for a higher price. So the email we sent them where I was communicating to them that the basic functions like reconciling our bank statements were covered in the contract, and they were saying, well, we'll have to charge you more if you want us to do that. So they believe at that time they were breaching the contract.
Okay, so basically there's 2 months, is that what it is, Bobby?
Yeah, it's 2 months plus 1% interest, and that's statutory based on us being a government entity.
Okay, and so we basically told them that based on the fact that we felt that they had not upheld their contract,
Correct.
that we were gonna withhold that, we could have
Yes.
that. Okay. Bobby, do we need some time? What do you need from
I
us?
don't,
Do you need
I
some
need some
direction?
direction, but I don't think I need any direction now. I just got an email because I wanted it in writing that if we didn't respond by the 26th, that they weren't gonna take any action, just because we hadn't taken any action tonight. They said that they would hold off, she wanted time to digest the information that I provided.
Do you want direction from the commission though, that regardless of that, where we stand?
No, because
Okay, I'm
I
asking for
agree.
direction from you, Bobby.
anything they send me, I gotta bring it back to y'all. So if they sent me something new or they were demanding something else, I'd have to bring it back to you. I don't want to blanket, because I want us to be, obviously transparent of exactly what we're doing.
So, and that's why I'm asking for some details, so for anybody that's looking at this to know why we're sitting here tonight. So the demand that they just placed on us, you don't need us to respond to that.
No, because unless they renew it, then we'll have to set another meeting.
So she's rescinded that demand at this time.
Basically, yes.
She either has or she hasn't.
Yeah,
Basically, it's not an answer.
yes.
Hi, thank you. For some reason, I can't really hear Bobby.
Sorry.
I'm speaking right into the microphone, so, I would say, it says, if the town delays conclusive action tonight, we will hold off on further action on our part as well. So I would say that they have withdrawn in writing their demand.
Okay.
Okay, so this January 10th, demand is.
Yes.
Okay, did you get that, Commissioner DeVito?
No, Mayor, I can hear what you say absolutely perfectly. Can you just repeat what I heard you ask Bobby? Does he need any direction from us tonight? And I thought I heard him say no, but I couldn't hear why.
He's saying that at this point in time, that they need further, time to review the documents that he's provided her today, that she did not have all of the documentation, that we have as far as correspondence between Mr. Rudd and Clarion. And so she wants more time to review that, and they have basically at this time rescinded their demand letter, until further notice.
Oh, okay.
Is that correct, Bobby?
Yeah, they've taken it, there's no demand right now. They may renew it, but right now there's not.
There's no demand, they may renew it, and we might be back in another special meeting, so.
Okay, so obviously, some of this can be delicate. Is this the time to ask Bobby any questions we might have? Or should we direct this to him maybe, by an email or something like that?
That, email's probably fine. I mean, it's public record anyways, but yeah, email's probably better. Just,
I do have a few questions.
Yeah, I mean, I wanna make sure that we're as transparent with this as we can be, Bobby, but we also need from you the guidance to make sure we don't overstep, anything that we ask, but if they have questions, can we
yeah, I mean,
ask?
yeah.
Can we ask, communicate questions? Okay.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here, I'll try and talk into the mic, but what I'm looking at here, this is the letter from May 23rd, 2023, okay,
Yes,
from you.
yes.
And these are the reasons why we went after them, these,
Those were, at that time, those were our beliefs as how laid out to them, how they reached the contract with us.
okay, and have you since had any more correspondence to clarify anything more, or
No,
why,
so
or?
after, when we had the meeting, when y'all decided not to make any counteroffer to them, the last attorney that they had asked if I would accept service of the complaint, and I said that I would, I have to, I would, and then I didn't hear anything until we got that letter from a separate law firm.
Okay, from the new law firm. Okay, so, all right. I mean, this just doesn't say too much, but if you guys are understandable.
Commissioner DeVito, did you have questions?
I do have questions, and this is just, this is just a very basic comment. My preference would be when a demand letter like this comes in, since it is a public record, that it be shared with the commission right away, even if the city attorney, just sends it to us saying, I have work to do on this, I don't have a recommendation at this time, but here it is, so that we will be aware of what's being sent, just so that we can be aware and be a little more prepared. Because I felt like, getting the letter yesterday, kind of put the commissioners on the back foot and didn't really give them time. So,
Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions regarding this other than that?
I do, okay, so the letter, that Bobby wrote to the earlier Clarion attorney, mentioned the claims that the city could possibly have. If there's no litigation coming from Clarion, are we planning, or is there a recommendation that we pursue those claims? Or are we just waiting to see what happens here?
You always would have the ability to do that. I don't know if, I can give you the outcomes, the possible outcomes, but I don't know if I can recommend us suing them. I don't know if that's a recommendation that I would make. If you have any questions about what could happen, the outcomes and stuff like that, then yes. And I will say about the letter, I thought that it had been provided. I know that I think I got it the day of a commission meeting, and I mentioned it at the commission meeting that we had received it and we need to address it.
Right. I remember you mentioned it, but it didn't really say there was a demand letter. If I thought there was a demand letter, I would have said, can you share that, please? Mayor, I think I'm gonna fold my questions.
Okay, that would be great. You'll hold your questions, you're gonna hold your questions?
Yes.
Okay,
I
thank
just
you.
have one more question. So I'm to understand that you don't recommend anything.
Wait, what?
That you don't recommend anything. You won't recommend to sue or not to sue.
The problem is, there's so many variables with lawsuits. We could win and get $100,000 judgment and never collect it from them. So I don't want the city to throw good money after bad money. That's my concern if we initiate litigation against somebody. That's what my concern is.
What is the possible cost of litigation? If we were to sue them going after?
I'd say you're looking anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 in attorney's fees, plus the cost of the lawsuit. It costs about $500 to file a lawsuit nowadays, plus the service fees and all that.
And, I don't know what we could actually, what amounts we would be trying to gain. The penalties that we received, were penalties that were because of the Clarion's actions, but, it wasn't something that, I see that it'd be worth that much to go after.
My recommendation is we counter sue if they sue us, but I don't recommend we sue them.
That's my feeling as well.
And Bobby's not gonna make that recommendation anyway, he's gonna tell us this is the pros and cons of everything.
I think that is a good strategy, I will say that. If we get sued, then we can't just lay down, we gotta defend ourselves, but I don't think we should go out looking for.
Okay, but just, I wanna make sure though that, that we have everything in front of us so that when the decision comes, that you have put everything in front of us to help us make the proper decision. I guess since we have to make the decision instead of leaning on you leading. I would want you to kind of help us make that decision, so.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I thought we were gonna have to do tonight, but I had some productive phone calls with their attorney and.
That's
Mayor?
Yes?
Could you kind of repeat what Commissioner Burton said? I heard the very first part of it, but I don't think I heard the second part of it.
I simply asked Bobby to make sure that we have all the information that we need in order to make the right recommendation when the time comes. That's what I basically said, or asked for.
Right, and Mayor, if I could, follow up on that?
Yes,
Sure, thank you. I think that's very well said. I agree with that, and I think all the information we need, and, as early as possible, because it's better to have a little more time,
okay,
to digest this kind of complex litigation-related information.
okay, I think you've already said that.
And hold, so another thing is why there was a delay is we turned this over to the Florida League of Cities to see if they would represent us almost immediately, and I just heard back today that they would not cover us for this. Because that's what I was thinking, that we would just turn it over to them and have them deal with it, and then they told us that they don't deal with that, so I think we were kind of.
Yeah, I mean, guys, we knew this was coming, we've already discussed this, I mean, I don't think it's necessary to scold anybody, and I feel like that's what we're doing now, is scolding them, we didn't get this letter, previously, so I think we all have this as we go forward. I don't know that the facts are gonna change much, Bobby? The facts are the facts, they've pretty much all been laid out, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
One other question, just for clarification, because, sometimes I kind of zone out a little bit at the times when I'm reading my things. But, what exactly was the penalty that they were gonna charge us for missing that date?
It was a 6%.
6% of what?
Of the fee that was due to the Public Service Commission, and then for the state sales tax, I forget the penalty we paid for that, those were late as well.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, I think someone here brought up the point, I think it was BJ who just mentioned, if you take everything that we might get hit for, would it be worth actually suing them and going through all that bother and not really getting not enough return to pay what the penalties and things might be, yeah, if it's worth it. So I don't know what that dollar amount was, I haven't never really figured out what 6% of.
Well, when we wrote the letter back then, we factored in the cost that the city had to incur to fix what Aquarian didn't do, so I think that's where our big damages.
Yeah, that's what I.
Or that's where our argument would be.
Yes.
And I think that's what we would do if we were to go into a countersuit, should they decide to file suit against us, correct? Then we could use all that. I mean, that's when we would do that. Commissioner DeVito, you said you had another question?
Well, not really another question, this is a comment. I don't want my request for information to be considered as scolding anyone. I just think, we're on the receiving end, and I think it's important for us to let our city attorney know, if it would be helpful to have things earlier, then, he's not gonna know that if I don't say so. So that's all I can do is just say so. I'm not
Okay.
finding fault with him. I'm just letting him know from our perspective, since we're not really privy to all this, it's better to have it earlier than later, even if we don't need it in the end. And as well, although we have to outline the basic facts, I think Commissioner Burton, said it very well, that there is more detail. And so it will, if the time comes, we hope it doesn't, we hope that, negotiations or exchange of information will resolve this naturally. It's good to have those facts and figures and things totaled up, so that we can have all that in front of us. So I'm just saying what I think will make things go more smoothly.
Okay,
So we're good for now. Thank you.
thank you. Yes.
In the future, like, as soon as we get something back from them, or something like that, can you provide it to us?
Yes, I will.
Just so we know, because obviously, like with my situation and the legal fees, FLC likes to take a long time to decide on stuff, and I think that would have been helpful if we knew ahead of time, so I think it's just better, just give it to us and say, we're working on this, whatever, we will come back to it, so we know, so. That's just my,
Then Bobby, I just wanna ask, I wanna ask you this, so with some of this, it's sensitive, some of it can be very sensitive. So when you send that out to us, if it is sensitive in nature, please make sure that you let us know that it is sensitive in nature. As far as discussing it with anybody else, I mean, I know it's all public record, huh?
Yeah, anything I send you is gonna be public.
It's public record, I know it's public record, but as far as discussing it, with anybody else, especially if we're going into if we're gonna go into litigation. So, just make sure, please, if you would advise us of that. So, with that, if we have no more questions? More questions? Okay. I'll open it up to public comment. Do you have any public comment in the site?
Oh, no, just,
If you'll come forward, please, and state your name and your address, if you would, please.
Diane Sykes, Crescent City. My understanding of what I just heard was that, if they sue us, then we're gonna counter sue for non-performance and actual damages.
Thank you. That was discussed, that decision had not been made. That was discussed, but we have not made an official decision at this time. Correct? Okay, with that, anybody else? Any other questions? Commissioner DeVito? Are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
I moved to adjourn.
Okay,
Sure.
we got a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you all again for coming tonight. Thank you, Bobby, for your efforts and trying to get this.
Hi, Lisa.